Hey guys, we're making it through April. It's gonna be interesting. Not going to church on Sunday. I mean, it's already been pretty peculiar not being able to go in the general sense, but to not be able to go on this particular significant day on the calendar. And you can watch other videos if you want to know more of what I think of the whole thing as a concept, but all that put aside, put that all off to the side. We're all for unity here, in truth. It's gonna be interesting not being able to go sing, sing songs about the resurrection, hear messages about it. It's kind of peculiar because if if you're someone who's been to church for any significant length of time, you probably already know what the messages would be about to some extent. Obviously, different churches approach it differently based on their bent or their audience or their style or whatever the case may be. But at least for this particular day that's coming up, it's all going to be about the same thing. And I could go on about a lot of different stuff when it comes to that. I can go on about the fact that sometimes, while we talk about the gospel and how much it means to us, that we don't really understand that his resurrection is important, not just this particular one day out of the year or one weekend out of the year or for some 140-day period out of the year, but it's important every single day. Every day. If you know the Lord, if you have that day, that moment that you can go back to, that God saved you, you can go to where you were blind but now you can see. You can go to where you were in the darkness and now you saw the light. Then it means something every single day out of the year. And when it helps to put it in that context, because sometimes when this time of the year comes around, if we don't see the value in it, if it's like, oh, here we go again, another Easter Sunday, another Resurrection Sunday, another Lenten season, what are we going to give up this time? What are we going to talk about this time? We miss it because you just can be so used to it. But it's new every day. I mean, salvation is secure, but the fact that that salvation is secure is still just as true today as it was that moment when it reached that moment to you. His resurrection is still as true today as it was when he walked out of that tomb. He's still alive every single day. Yesterday he was alive, today he's alive, tomorrow he's alive, Lord willing we see it tomorrow. It's still just as true. And we can lose that. So I guess what's interesting to me is that, I mean, I haven't necessarily noticed it in the spiritual sense, but we can take it aside for now. Basic stuff. People I've seen it all over social media, basic things, or seemingly basic things, perhaps first world basic things, but I digress, have been just, man, people miss going to restaurants and hanging out with their friends. But if it was a normal April, some would view that as a burden. Oh man, another time of going out and hanging out with people. I'm just so tired. People miss working at their jobs. Can you imagine? 2 months ago, those same people they'd be looking forward to having time off their job for the holiday weekend. Or for some, having that extra incentive to work on that holiday weekend that many would offer. But now everyone's taking a step back and we're noticing that, hey, what's kind of like what's old is new again. You know, you miss all the things that we take for granted. Well, this is one of the most important things we take for granted. One of the most important, if not, I would argue, the most important thing that even I, or anyone who knows the Lord, or anyone who seeks His face, take for granted is the fact that He's alive. He gave Himself up for us. And then He rose again. He died. He was dead. And then He rose again. And we can, because if you enter and you fade and you hear it again and again, and you see it on the calendar and you know it's coming, but it's true now. Whenever anyone comes across this video, if it's April, if it's November, if it's July, it's still going to be true because He's still alive. He still rose again. And so, yeah, we're not going to be able to go to our church buildings that we probably miss more than we have in a while, and congregate with our fellow believers in our local church families, wherever that may be. Some are offering online, some are unable to offer that. Whatever the case may be, there's going to be plenty of people, plenty of church services available to watch. I've noticed that too. We live in such an age where we can just simply have people show messages. They don't have to be long. They don't have to be fancy. You can clear the stage, so to speak, of a lot of that extra stuff in this season and still say what needs to be said. And there's nothing more important about walking with the Lord, living for the Lord, telling others about Him, showing others what it's like living with Him, than what comes at the root. The root of everything else. Baptism, communion, all the other things that we argue about, whether they're preference or doctrine, the roots of everything is the fact that Christ died, was buried, and He rose again. That's the message. That's what turned the Roman Empire upside down. That's what built civilizations. That's what's turned lives that we know, if not our own, upside down. What's old is new again. He's alive today. I needed that reminder. I was just sitting here thinking, like, He's alive. Yeah, we're not going to walk into a building and talk about it. We're going to sit in our homes or wherever the case may be, and if we can, we'll watch something. But He's alive today. And He's alive every day. And if you don't know Him, He's willing to share. He gave Himself so that you can experience that everlasting life with Him. And I hope you do. I'll be praying for you if you don't know Him, and if you do, I'm praying you find the joy in the simple and profound fact that He arose. Till next time, keep going, stay focused, take one step and one day at a time. We serve a risen Savior.